Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Angelica and you are here with It's More Than Just Lashes. Thank you so much for being here. For all the people who are new, welcome. This place is just for you. This channel is dedicated to all things lashes, growing your lash business, your mindset, and your self-development. All of my favorite things bundled into one. That is what this channel is all about. So if you're interested in any of those topics, you are in the right place. In today's video, we're going to be talking about glue. Everything about adhesives, glue, lash glue, all of that good stuff. This actually was a request that has taken me way too long to complete, but I finally got it done. So here we are. So let's just get right into it. What is glue? What is lash glue? What is it made out of? How is it made? There's so many different questions. I'm still learning this process. I've been doing lashes for over 6 years now, and I'm still learning how glues are made in the lab and the differences between them and how they're prepared, how they dry, how they affect clients, how they don't affect certain clients. Like, there's so much about glue, but today we're going to basically talk about the basics of glue, how to determine what glue to get, when to know if it's the right glue for you, all of that good stuff. But first, let's get right into what is the basis of lash glue. So most lash glues are made with this long name called cyanoacrylate. That is the primary chemical that is in most lash glues. Cyanoacrylate is actually how you pronounce it. I'm gonna put the actual spelling on the screen because it's hard to spell out. It is cyanoacrylate. That is the primary chemical that's in it. So it's a combination of cyanoacrylate, some stabilizers, and carbon black. Of course, if you have heard people talk about sensitive glue, it does not have that carbon black. So it's clear, sometimes it's pink, sometimes it's a blue sheer color. There's a bunch of different ones on the market now. But if it is a sensitive glue, typically it does not have carbon black in it. So when you're explaining this to your clients, let them know that it does not have the carbon black in it. So that is probably what they could be allergic to. So most glues are 95% cyanoacrylate, like I said, and most glues have a high concentration of cyanoacrylate. The other 5 to 10% consist of stabilizers, thickener, black pigment, like I said, the carbon black, and a hardening accelerator. Okay, so now we know what's basically in most glues. What is cyanoacrylate and what does it do? It's used in a lot of different hospitals and in the medical field, so it is safe, which is good to know because your girls sometimes, I always wonder, you never know. You never know. So it's nice to know that this is actually a medical grade glue, and what it is it's an acrylic resin, like I said before, that is quick to dry, and it forms really strong bonds in the presence of water. And it's kind of crazy because a lot of the times back in the day, especially, I would hear a lot of things like, don't get your lashes wet, don't get your lashes wet. But really, cyanoacrylate does great in the presence of water. And so that is why a lot of lash artists use misters throughout the service. That's why a lot of lash artists use misters at the very end of the service, because it does help with the drying of the cyanoacrylate. Okay, so now that we know the basis of what is in most glues, let's talk about the humidity and the temperature range. Glue has to be within a certain temperature range and a certain humidity range for it to be successful. This is a whole other conversation that we're gonna have for another day, but this affects your retention. Most glues, the perfect range for the temperature is between 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the humidity range is typically between 40 and 60% is what your humidity should be in the room. Of course, if you cannot reach this, you need to get a humidifier. If your room is too dry, you need to get reverse. If your room has too much humidity, you need to get a dehumidifier. If your room doesn't have enough humidity and it's dry like it is in Vegas, then you're definitely going to want to get a humidifier so you can get some moisture in the air so your glue can dry properly. If you do not have a hygrometer, I suggest you buying one on Amazon. They're super, super cheap. I will link the one that I use every single day in my suite. I will link that below so you can hopefully buy that and use it so you can determine what the temperature is and the humidity range. It will save you a load of time. So how do you know if your glue is in the right temperature or not by just looking at the drop? Let's talk about that. So eyelash glue will get thicker if the temperature is colder. And on the other end, the glue will get thinner if the temperature in the room is way too hot. So if you ever are using your glue and you feel like it's too loose, it's like dripping all over your tile or whatever, then it may be time to adjust your temperature. But like I said, you can avoid all these issues by just getting a hygrometer or hydrometer. I think it's a hygrometer. Either way, it's going to be linked below. Now that you know the temperature that's best for the glue, you know the humidity, you can then choose your glue based off of that. There are a load of lash companies out there. And so you want to choose your glue that does best with your particular city, humidity range, and temperature. Obviously, it doesn't matter what's going on outside. But if you live in a city that's typically pretty humid, I suggest finding a glue that works well in those temperatures. Always look at the description. Before you buy the glue, look at the description. Make sure that it makes sense for what your humidity range is in your city. If you are living in a more drier city like Vegas, make sure you look at the description so you know what the temperature needs to be in the room and what the humidity needs to be in the room. That is how you want to choose your glue all the time. And of course, the dry time. Looking at the dry time is very, very important. There are a bunch of different dry times. There's a 0.5, there's a 1 second, there's a 2 second, there's a 3 second. There's a bunch of different dry times. So depending on your speed, that is how you want to choose your dry time. You don't want to choose something too fast because that baby's going to be way too dry by the time it gets to the lash, and it may stick. It may stick for then. It may stick for now, but as you're combing that, those lashes are going to come right out, or it's going to come out when the client gets home and you don't want those problems. So pick a dry time that works well with your speed. How do you know what glue to choose? Great question. Always look at the company. Is the company a reputable company? Look at their reviews. Look at the dry time. Look at the humidity range. Look at the temperature range. All these things you need to look at so you can determine what's the best glue for you. That is how you choose your glue. So some of the major differences with glues besides the dry time is how they're prepared in a lab. This is what separates a lot of different glues, is how they're prepared in a lab, which is what causes them to have the different dry time. This can go into an entire scientific portion that like I said, I'm still learning, that I don't know a lot about. But the biggest thing is when you are looking at your glue and you look at the company, always look at what the chemicals are and how they are made in the lab. Of course, there are some glues that are better than others. Like anything in the world, there are some burger restaurants that are better than other burger restaurants. And it all boils down to how they are prepared in the lab, how they're stored. Make sure you're talking to the manufacturer and you are fully aware of how they're preparing these glues, what chemicals that they're using, what stabilizers that they're using, what thickener that they're using, how long has the glue been stored for. All of that good stuff is very, very good to know. Some glues have a different shelf life. Some glues are able to be unopened for longer periods of time than other glues. So you want to look into that. Make sure you know what the shelf life is for whatever glue that you're buying. And most importantly, you want to make sure that you know how long this glue lasts opened. Most glues, typically when they are open, they last about 4 to 6 weeks before you have to toss it and get a new one. Some I hear have been longer than that. I've heard some people say that their glue lasts 3 months opened. That's incredible. That's impressive. But look into it. You always want to do your research. So that's everything about glues. That's my glue 101. There's a bunch of different companies that sells a variety of different glues. Don't let the names freak you out. Don't let the names don't mean anything. Look at the description. Look at the description, look at the dry time, look at the humidity range, and look at some of the stabilizers that are in it, the thickener, like I said earlier. Look into all those things so you can determine if this glue works best for you. I hope you guys got something from this video. I hope that you were able to learn something and you are able to go out into the world and buy the glue that you want to buy and use the glue that you love, and you find your favorite freaking glue. Because once you find it, you'll probably never switch up. I found my glue and I don't think I'll ever buy another glue again, because once you find what works, keep it. There are a lot of different people that say have different kind of dry time glues on your hand, you know, have different brands of glue, and it's like, don't get lost in the sauce. Find one glue that you love and stick to it. So thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch me. I am always here for you, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.